I'm going to use the sweet, irony taste of this incredibly versatile spring veg that's bang in season right now, giving a bit of time and love to create this beautiful pasta, stuffed with an utterly Moorish filling to create an oozy, cheesy spring cannelloni.
I'm going to get a pan on, nice medium-high heat. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm then going to get some herbs. Go in with some of this lovely oregano. You can use dried herbs. It's a very flexible recipe. And this is a fantastic principle for epic flavour with greens. And it doesn't have to be just chard. It can be spinach, kale, cabbage, things like that. So look, you can see a sizzle's coming on here. So give it a little shake. As that comes up, I'll just slice up 2 small onions, and they tend, greens in general, to be a little bit bitter. So to kind of balance the bitterness, we add things like onions for sweetness, right? So 4 cloves of garlic. This is New Season's garlic, so it's a little bit sweeter and softer, but the regular stuff, it's still brilliant. What I tend to do now with Swiss chard is separate the greens from the stalk. Think about it like, you know, carrots, celery. You can use it beautifully in cooking. And I'll put the stalks into the pan a little bit earlier because they need a bit more cooking. Now, the stalks, you can serve underneath a lovely chicken breast or a steak, lamb chop. Now, cannelloni is a filled pasta, and this is going to be the filling for the cannelloni. So the little pinch of salt and pepper, right? What we can do with these leaves is just clank them up and get them in that pan. This is a kilo of greens. So now we've got these stalks tender, we go in with the leafy part. And that massive pile of greens is getting cooked down. Cooked down means concentrated. Concentrated means delicious flavour. After about 10 minutes, it's cooked down. And you can see the colour is dark and delicious. There's a couple of little things I do to make most veggies, but particularly any green leafy veggies, really delicious. About 1/4 of a nutmeg. It's really fragrant. It's got a sort of edge of sweetness to it. And then a little bit of lemon juice, or it could be a little swig of vinegar. Just lifts it. Lemons, obviously not from this country, but you can grow citrus for sure. And just a little squeeze of juice like that just lifts these greens to the next level. And then salt and pepper. I'm going to get it on here. Look at that. As that cools down a bit, I'm just going to start a very simple tomato sauce. I'm going to do it in the tray that I'm going to cook the cannelloni. Throw it in with a nice, heart-healthy olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, and then dried chilli. You get a more savoury, rounded chilli flavour than when it's fresh. This dried chilli is almost like sun-dried. So when you dry a chilli, you do get different flavours. So I'm just going to grab some basil. That is sort of the traditional, you know, tomato sauce vibe. Just tear it in. I think growing herbs is almost the best way to start growing a garden if you've never done it before. And then 3 tins of good quality plum tomatoes. Just fill 1 can of water. This is a really quick tomato sauce, so just bring it to the boil. And look, you can see now, that's pretty fine. No effort. I'm just putting those tubes onto the greens like that. Use your finger just to squash it in. If you wanted to put any cheese through this, you can. You could add mushrooms to the story. You could put a few olives in there. Like, have fun, be creative. For me, this dish is about delicious Swiss chard, contrasted with this beautiful, bright, light, sweet tomato sauce. We've got our little stack of beautiful cannelloni. I'm just going to nestle these cannelloni into the tray. I'm going to leave this on a low heat, and I want to give you a really quick white sauce that's delicious and something a little bit different, and based around a cheese from Italy that is much more common in the UK now. ricotta. And you can get it in most supermarkets. So we put the ricotta, 250 grams, into here. About 200 mils of milk. Cheddar's delicious. It's not Italian, but we love it. And I think it bakes really well. And it's delicious in lasagnas and cannellonis anyway. So 60 grams of that goes in, and about the same of Parmesan. Again, about 60 grams will make you a delicious white sauce. It's a bit more expensive than cheddar. So that's why I mentioned cheddar, because it's a really good sort of economical swap out. So go one or the other, or blend, like I have. A pinch of salt and 1 egg. Just whisk it up in a liquidizer. In no time at all, you've now got a beautiful, thick white sauce. So now what we do is just pour that white sauce over the top like that. And that will set and be utterly delicious. Look at that. I'll finish that with just a little grating of Parmesan, and we're good to go. So that'll go in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. Let's have a little clean down, and then I'll go and get some salad. Right, let's wash these. I could never do this in the kitchen. See, this is my kitchen, so I can do it. But also I can upgrade this. Wait for it. Who needs a salad spinner? Okay, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, red wine vinegar, pinch of salt and pepper. Lovely little salad. Right, let's have a look at our beautiful cannelloni. It smells amazing! Oh. Look at that. That, my friends, is a thing of beauty. I know which way the cannelloni have gone because I've racked them up like that. Oh, look at that. Just gorgeous. So a little bit of side salad, a little fresh bit of Parmesan, springtime charred cannelloni. Let's get in there. And that plate is this season. It's springtime in a dish. Might just put a little bit of spring in your step. You like that? It's a beautiful day today, and I'm gonna show you a lovely, gorgeous chicken pie. It's from my new book, Together. I'm really proud of it. There's all kinds of meals for different occasions. This chapter is called Laid Back Feast. It's a puff pastry pie with sausage, bacon, chicken, and that beautiful watercress sauce is so, so good. I'm actually gonna cook it today for my crew. Yay! Yes, we're gonna feed them for once. Let's give these a little wash and let's get cooking. So, 2 rashers of smoky bacon. Finely slice this up. You don't need loads, right? It's gonna give you that beautiful smoky flavor. Render that fat out. 2 chicken thighs, free-range organic. Everything's getting cut up into little 3-centimetre chunks. So get that chicken into the bacon fat on a medium-high heat. 2 sausages. Pinch the sausage out into nice little chunks like that. Brown off the chicken and the sausage and the bacon. Look at that. Season it fairly generously with black pepper. If you wanted to add some herb, what do you like? I've got a little bit of savoury, which I love. 2 potatoes. Cut them exactly the same size, 3-centimetre. Every time we add an ingredient, just stir it for all those beautiful flavours and fats. 2 leeks. The white part is very tender, and the green part has seen the sunlight, so it's got more flavour and more structure. It's a bit tougher. So the way I fix that is by finely slicing the green part and helping the cooking, you know, kind of break it down a little bit. And then when you get to the lovely white part, just clank it up into 3-centimetre chunks again. Yes! It smells amazing. While that's frying, I'm gonna have a quick little clean down. The sound that you're hearing is a good one, sizzling. So we're browning off the chicken, the bacon, the sausage, and the potatoes are absorbing all of that lovely flavour. Achieving that colour is achieving like 20% extra flavour. And now we're going to add some more flavour. 2 teaspoons of English mustard and 2 tablespoons of plain flour. So 2, 2, 2, all through the story. Easy to remember, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. We're going to go in now with 500 millilitres of chicken stock or veggie stock. You can see the flour thickening and shining up this beautiful stew. Now, to make a really creamy but simple sauce, add some milk. Bring that up to a simmer now and let it just tick over for about 15 minutes. That simple. This method now is the unusual bit. We're going to use a colander to basically separate the gravy from the meat, the potatoes and the veg. It's going to give you the perfect texture for the filling. So when nearly all of the liquid has come out, pour it into here. Tender, tasty and gorgeous. So let's have a little try of the gravy. Oh, really, really good. So we can take that to another level, not just in flavour, but in colour. Beautiful watercress. It's got that nice mustardy flavour. Pour that gravy on top. Whiz that up for a minute. Look at that colour. You've taken something gorgeous, but quite simple and everyday, and now it's exciting. Put most of it in here, and then about 100 mils of it you can put in here. So amazing colour, amazing flavour. Now onto the pastry. We're going to use puff pastry. It's so convenient, it's so good. It's an all butter puff pastry. Grab a little pastry cutter and just do little random sort of cuts, odds and sods. Whatever you do, make it completely erratic. Think patchwork quilt. No matter what you do, it's all going to kind of like cook and puff up into a gorgeous topping. Because there's little kind of gaps, that lovely green sauce will kind of find its way through and blip through and make nice little crispy bits. I love that. If you want to, you can glaze or egg wash your pastry. Just crack 1 egg into a little jar like that. Give it a little mix up and we just brush. Don't trim it, don't try and be neat, go with the flow. Joy. So that goes in the oven now for 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, until golden and gorgeous. Then we can feed the crew. Mighty fine. The crew will most definitely destroy this. Ho, ho, ho. Lovely new potatoes, peas and asparagus. I've got another dish here from the book, vegetables a la grecque. So guys, what are you waiting for? Get involved, have a go. Please look out for the book. But for now, crew, tuck in! Thanks, you left me the asparagus. I'm going to show you how to make the most beautiful homemade wild garlic butter and the most incredible tear and share spongy milk buns that are going to give you the best garlic bread in your whole life. You're going to love it. Look at that. Beautiful wild garlic. There's loads around at the moment. So you'll see it in woods, you'll see it in fields, and I've even got some growing here, which is an absolute dream. If you get them back, wash them in a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, give it a really good wash, spin it. If you're worried, you can always just dip them into boiling water just for 30 seconds and take it out. So I'm gonna make the most beautiful wild garlic butter. 200 grams of wild garlic to 2 packs of butter. Really best quality butter you can get. I'll just whiz it up. So give it a little whiz, put in your butter. It's really that simple. And you're going to get the most incredible green butter. I'll take this off. The smell is absolutely incredible. It's a beautiful thing. I'll show you one technique for laying it out in a cool way. So I'm going to do a little bar of flavoured butter. I get myself a nice piece of greaseproof paper. I'll take this beautiful butter. Look at that. Look at the colour. Come on. The colour is phenomenal. Squash this down like that. A little lemon zest just works so flipping well. And also what's very, very good is fairly generously, like, what was going to say, not scrimpled. What does scrimpled mean? Whole salt flakes, right? So you kind of feel it in your palate. So nice chunks of that. And then what we're going to do is just roll it up properly. And once you've rolled it up like that, just twist it opposite ways to get that tension. And that is going to make the most amazing wild garlic butter. Now, what I normally do is put it in the fridge, let it firm up, then I'll cut through it into little portions, roll it back up in this again, put it in the freezer, and then next time you do a steak, a little bit of wild garlic butter. Next time roast chicken, wild garlic butter. In the depths of winter, when there's no wild garlic around, pasta, wild garlic butter. Like, it's like a gift. Another way you can do it, come and have a look at this, is do exactly what I did, but pop out your wild garlic ice cubes. I would probably suggest that you have one just for savoury things, because you might go put some water in there and go and do like your little cocktail, and you're like, there's a little like funky flavour going on, but these are really cool, right? Maybe even more user-friendly, right? So the next time you go and do some humble steamed veg, wild garlic butter. You get the idea? It's very cool. The idea, I mean, I guess it's preserving. The idea of taking like the bounty of the beginnings of spring and celebrating it all year round is a beautiful thing. And just to finish some things off, these buds, you know, I said you could use the leaves, the stalks, the roots, and these are the buds. These have been washed, and what I'll do is cover that with a lovely vinegar. This is a cider vinegar, cider and garlic vibe. I would hit it fairly generously with salt. So the salt and the vinegar, that will preserve it, right? So it will be stable. You could have little mustard seeds in there. You could put a little honey in there as well. Very, very nice. In fact, I will do that. A little honey is nice, sweet and sour. Once you've taken these beautiful buds and you're left with this liquor, don't throw it away. You can use that for making lovely dressings, lovely marinades. You can just bottle it. Bottle it as a kind of wild garlic vinegar. Joy. Oh. So submerge that, lid on top, give it a shake, and let that pickle away. It will be a gift that keeps on giving. Right, let's get into bread. This is going to be the most beautiful tear and share, soft, spongy, white garlic bread, right? Little rolls. The recipe's really nice. 800 grams of organic plain flour. So it's not a strong flour. We're going to go into here with 100 grams of butter, which I will just kind of break up with my hands. In here, I have 500 mils of tepid milk. The reason we want that little bit of heat is to activate the yeast. If you go to the supermarket, these little sachets that you get are always 7 grams. So 7 grams of dried yeast goes in. It's dormant currently. The minute it hits the temperature and humidity of the milk and all the things in milk, which are natural sugars and proteins and things like that, it is waking up. That yeast is waking up now. So it's going to get going. Obviously, yeast will feed on the proteins in the flour and the milk, and in return for that, it will belch lovely gases that will give you the lift in your bread to make it soft and spongy and beautiful. So mixing that yeast, just to kind of make it even happier, I'm going to give it a nice teaspoon of honey. That will very, very slightly sweeten the bread, but not much. Nothing really worth talking about, but it will make the yeast very happy. It will now start sort of bubbling and fizzing. That's what you want. So look, typically when making bread, you wouldn't add oil or butter, typically. And of course, you'll use stronger flours often, and you'll make a dough that's much more elastic. But what I'm after here is an enriched dough, something that's soft and rich and really luxurious. And, you know, if you think about other enriched doughs, things like brioche is enriched, things like scones are, lovely croissants, you know, they're enriched with layers of fat. So by adding a little oil or butter, as we have, you're going to just get more flavour, more tenderness. It will colour much nicer naturally, which I think in this context for lovely garlic bread is going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Another thing you can do is add some salt now. Very, very important. So 2 good teaspoons of sea salt, right? Don't under-season the bread. It will just taste like thin air and it's not going to be good. So what I do now is just make a little well in the center. I'm going to slowly pour in the milk with the yeast and honey, like that. I'll use my fork to start off with, because I don't want to get too messy. So move it around with your fork until it's too hard to do. Then we bring in the hands. If you're worried, you can put a little bit of flour on your hands like that, but just start bringing it together like that and just move it around that bowl. And ideally, we'll kind of semi-clean that bowl from all the sides, so I can get rid of that bowl now. And just have a nice little knead up. So let's just talk about kneading for a second. You can do it on a board if you wish. It's much easier to do it on a lovely wet surface. So look, when you look at bakers, they're so talented, and you know, they're kind of sitting there kind of giving it all of this and, you know, making it feel very technical. But look, kneading is just moving it, stretching it, pulling it, giving the dough a little bit of chaos. So we want to knead it to develop structure, to really make the gluten kind of bond together and get kind of elastic and strong. By doing that, when the yeast starts doing its job and releasing the gases, it won't just kind of disappear into the ceiling, right? It will stay in here, like bending and twisting. And that's what gives you the bubbles that give you the sponge and the softness and the deliciousness that we all love so much. So I would say just like 4 or 5 minutes, if you can, just lean on it, move it, pull it apart, pick it up, slap it down. When it's smooth and silky and it has a nice little kind of bounce back, see that? Look, if I'm just touching it, it's bouncing back. We're in a good place. And I'm gonna let this prove. So normally around an hour to an hour and a half, or until it doubles in size. So you can see the size of it now. Once that's doubled in size, it's gonna be kind of up around here. So what I do is just get myself a clean cloth that's wet and been wrung out, and I can cover it, and then I can just leave it here, depending on the temperature. If it's cold, then you might want to put it somewhere a little bit warmer. Then the yeast will get going, the bread will start blooming, the flavors and structure will develop, and then we can shape it for making our beautiful buns. Right, let's have a clean down. So this has had an hour. Have a little look. Look how satisfying that is. Plump and gorgeous. What I want to do now is just break this down into lots of little rolls. Have a little look in the structure in here. Just look, that's what we've created. The smell is amazing. So you can see almost like those honeycomb gaps of air. Now what we do is we knock back, and that essentially means, you know, we bash the air out, and you'll be like, well, why would you bash the air out? You've just put it there. We just want a better end product. So what I want to do now is get 45 rolls. I'm not going to get the scales out. Like, do me a favour, will you? So what I'm going to do is just roll it out to a fairly consistent sausage like this. And let's kind of 25, 12 and a half. Go with the maths, all right? So that's give or take about right. So 12 and a half. I'll roll this out. And it's about the size like a squash ball, like that. I'm not actually counting, but I should be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If you wanted to do a bigger loaf, absolutely you can. If you wanted to do lovely little burger buns, that would be quite a glorious thing. So there's no rules. Into this tray, a little bit of oil. So rub around the bottom and then the sides. Now let me just dry my hands of olive oil because they're a bit lubricated. And I want to get a little bit of traction between my hand and the marble surface or your kitchen top, right? So I'm just putting my hand on top like this, and I'll kind of close my thumb like that, and I'm moving around like that. So 1, 2, 3, and then I go straight in. When you're a bit more experienced, you can go 2 hands. So 1, 2, 3, and straight in. So you can just rattle through these in no time at all. At this stage in the game, if there's little variations in shape and form, like, don't sweat it. As it proves, it will double in size, and this will become a sea of beautiful, bulbous, blossoming buns. A lot of bees there, right? What I love to do now, which really does finish it off nice, is take a little brush. So just giving it a brush of milk will just give it the most beautiful golden colour. Don't forget you've got the butter inside the dough as well, so that's also going to add to the colour. They need to prove again now for the second and last time. Put it somewhere which is draft-free, cover it with a damp cloth, make it taut so it doesn't sort of sit on the buns. Once they've doubled in size, then we can bake them in the oven, and I'll show you how to do that next. So 1 hour later, and we have those beautiful things. So you can see how it's doubled in size. All these little gaps have been filled up, and it's actually very, very beautiful. So pick it up gently, don't bang it around, don't lose the air. I've preheated the oven to 160 degrees Celsius, which is about 320 Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna cook it for half an hour until golden and gorgeous. And then the fun stuff happens with the garlic butter. So in we go, nice and gently, in the middle, half an hour. Come on, look at that. That is a very beautiful, very satisfying thing. It's funny, in my time working in restaurants around the world, things like garlic bread just seem to be one of the best sellers consistently around the world. We just love it. So, but then I take that amazing garlic butter and just start putting it on top. Little bombs of it. Then we can just start brushing it. And of course, that beautiful, sort of pungent but mild, beautiful garlic flavor is just gonna melt in between all the little cracks and crannies of the bread. Just look at that. Amazing green butter. Just melting and drizzling down. Pure style there. When you do these tear and share things, I'm always like, I'm so excited right now, but I don't know which one to take. It's like too much choice. I'm gonna go for that bulbous. See, I want that one. It's in the middle. It's like it's in the middle of these. So let's just see what we can do. Let's get in there. Let's get in there. Look, 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 look. Oh. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's the one I want. That's the one that's got my name on it. So there you go. Beautiful tear and share. Wild garlic milk buns. Just a joy. All I have to do now is try one. Soft, spongy, pungent, mild. How can you be pungent and mild? But it is. It's kind of pungent and mild. You've got those little hits of lemon zest as well, which are just so good. The little crystals of salt. That, my friend, is a delicious garlic bread. Right there. So what are you waiting for? Get amongst it. Get out there, get foraging, get washing, get making. You're gonna love it. Enjoy. I'm gonna do a beautiful, exciting dish, seared turmeric chicken with gorgeous peppers, couscous, greens, and silken hummus. Really lovely. And I'm taking inspiration from being in Japan and that kind of idea that food is medicine.
This delicious chicken dish has 3 of your 5-a-day fruit and veg, the dairy, protein and carbs you need, and rocks in at only 579 calories.
So first up, we got marinade, and the marinade kind of hero is turmeric. And 1 teaspoon in here is an incredible flavor. It gives amazing color, but also this has been used in traditional medicine for 4,000 years for an anti-inflammatory for things like asthma, osteoarthritis. So this is a really good thing to get in your life.
It's so nutritious that even small amounts like this will make a difference.
We're gonna hit that up with some extra virgin olive oil, 2 tablespoons, and I'm gonna put in a really lovely herb, oregano. A little tip on these lovely woody herbs. If you just run it under a hot tap or even pop it in some boiling water, just for a second, you wake up all of those natural oils and you're gonna get way more flavor.
Finely slice and add the oregano, season with a pinch of salt and pepper, then add 2 skinless chicken breasts and give them a good coating.
If you can marinate this overnight, then brilliant. And even if you're gonna cook it in 5, 6, 7 minutes, this is gonna be still delicious. So look, there's our chicken, done. I've got some boiling water here. I wanna lightly season that. And then what I'm gonna do is blanch my greens. So just quickly, any greens. I love all greens. So I've got some beautiful Swiss chard here, different colors. You know, the different colors don't cost any more than the plain green stuff. I've got kale here, which is probably the oldest British kind of green, really. You know, this is what our ancestors would have been eating. Purple stuff. Just take that off the stalk, like that. So mix it up, have fun. And what I wanna do here is show you a way to sort of just celebrate greens.
Just drop into boiling water, These are jam-packed with nutrients, including vitamin C, and I've got some iron-rich spinach set aside to do later.
Now, hazelnuts. 1 handful of nuts a day reduces your chance of heart attacks and heart disease by 50%. Ridiculous. So I'm going to use about 15, 20 grams in here, just bring them back to life as this pan heats up. So let's have a little look here. Okay, so this only had 2 minutes, guys. And I'm gonna grab the greens and I'm gonna put them on a little rack over here. Full of life, full of colour, and still full of a lot of their goodness. Okay, remember the spinach? So this is how long I wanna cook the spinach. Put the spinach in, take it out. That's all you wanna do. Look at that. Okay, before I get rid of this water, little tip.
This is whole wheat couscous. So it's that hero whole grain again. Take 150 grams, just cover it with that nutritious water from the veg. Season, pop in a sprig of mint, then simply cover and leave for 10 minutes. My nuts are nicely toasted, so give them a smash up.
So look, let's get the chicken cooking. Add the oil first, and then go in with our chicken. And I want to use all that marinade because I've accounted the olive oil and all the herbs. Let's get it all in there. Let's make use of it all. So I'm going to cook that about 3 to 4 minutes on each side until gorgeous, golden and delicious. So while it's cooking, let's get on with some lovely hummus.
Empty a jar of cooked chickpeas into a blender. And now my clever trick to make this a healthy hummus is to use 2 tablespoons of gorgeous yogurt instead of oil.
We'll go in with half a clove of garlic, a pinch of cayenne.
Add the juice of half a lemon.
The last ingredient, which is really essential, is tahini. It's basically sesame paste. So 1 teaspoon goes in, and then just whiz it up. Okay, so let's have a little taste. Now, that's good, okay? But bearing in mind, this would normally have a load of oil in it, so we pretty much halved the calories. But there's more flavour, it's kind of lighter and cleaner, and it's got a little bit more attack. So I like it a lot. Let's razz that up.
This quantity makes about 8 portions, so there'll be plenty left over to enjoy the rest of the week.
So look, hummus is done.
Once the chicken is almost ready, add 4 slices of roasted red peppers to the same pan, taking advantage of all those lovely juices.
They're really sweet, they're really beautiful. They've already been grilled and peeled for you, and those jarred red peppers are a wonderful condiment and vegetable to get. Notice that you can pick up all the sticky bits from the marinade and the kind of chicken juices, so it's all flavour, it's all good. The colour of the chicken, look at it. Absolutely amazing.
Now time to flavour up that couscous.
Again, embracing and loving herbs. A nice little handful of mint. Let's just chop this up. This is going to go through the couscous. In the time that chicken's cooked, the couscous will have doubled in size. And actually, I didn't actually know you could get whole wheat couscous. So it's such an easy trade up. Let's have a look at our couscous here. That's your carbohydrate, but also, and most importantly, slow burning carbohydrate. That's going to keep you fuller for way longer. So straight in there.
Time to plate up. Dollop on that beautiful silken skinny hummus.
Just sort of give it a little back spoon like that. And the reason that we do that, because there's juice in this pan, so I just pour it in there. That's all goodness. Don't want to lose that.
Then layer on the roasted red peppers.
We give it a nice little wodge of the minty couscous. Really nice. The smell of the mint is absolutely gorgeous. Let's look at the chicken. I'm just going to slice it at an angle, about 1 centimetre thick. And the turmeric has just coloured it so fantastically well. It's just quite nice to open up the chicken so you can see it. Very juicy, nice way to cook it. Those gorgeous greens. Look at that, lovely colour. And of course, when you start mixing those greens up with the hummus and all the chicken juices and the pepper, that's just beautiful.
Sprinkle over the toasted hazelnuts.
We've got loads and loads of couscous. That's going in the middle of the table. And that is, guess what, all in your portion, along with this as well. So there's no shortage of greens and food. You're gonna be full, super, super full.
And you've got a plate full of goodness for just 579 calories.
Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, colourful dish. You've got all the food groups represented. You've got your protein, your carbohydrates, you've got your dairy, you've got 3 of your fruit and veg a day, and that's gonna do your body so, so, so much good. So let's have a little taste. Right. Let's get the chick, the hummus, couscous, and some greens. Some of that juice from in there. Oh yeah, the peppers and the hummus just getting mopped up with the couscous is a really, really good thing. For me, the flavours work really, really well together. The silky hummus, sweet peppers, the chicken with attitude, maybe just a little squeeze of lemon. Beautiful, that is a lovely dinner. Without doubt, your body will be very, very pleased that you've given it that. That is a superfood chicken dish right there. Hi guys, hope you're well. Okay, we're gonna make a really delicious, nutritious, super quick chicken meal. This is marinated chicken with lemon and spices, grilled on the char grill and served with smashed sweet potato and beautiful sprouting broccoli with a little olives. Let's get into the spirit and the idea behind a marinade. Down here, we have got spices, black pepper here, paprika, cayenne, we've got the turmeric, and a little seasoning of salt. Take this as a recipe, and if you don't like the spice, you can pull it back, you can try different spices, you can make it your own. So I'm gonna grate some garlic in here, take my little lemon, cut in half, lemon to one side. The fragrant skin is unbelievably tasty. We'll squeeze the lemon juice in, like this. I'm just gonna finely chop the parsley here, and in it goes. And then, just a little piece of onion. There's acidity in the onion, and this acidity works in marinades to really help penetrate the flavour in. I've got a little bit of tomato puree here, just a little heaped teaspoon like that. And then we'll start bringing it together. And normally I'd use an olive oil, but I'm using rapeseed oil here. Look at that, right? That is flavour right there. Get your chicken breast, cut that chicken breast in half. I'm gonna get that marinade, rub it all over. And of course, if you could leave this in the fridge overnight, fantastic. So I've got a griddle pan on full whack. We're gonna go in to the char grill like this. Also, I've got the lemon here. We're gonna char grill that. And this is interesting because when you char grill a lemon, instead of just getting acidic lemon juice, you get sweet and sour. So guys, look, let's have a little look. This has had about 1.5 minutes. Look at the colour, guys, look at the colour. And that is flavour. It's caramelising, look at that. So I wanna kind of pair it up with sprouting broccoli here. Boiled sweet potato, gonna smash it. And let's plate up. Very simple midweek dinner that's tasty and really, really healthy. That is done. Look at that, guys. Some nice sprouting broccoli here, little olives. If you just break over just a couple, the flavour is phenomenal. Got the lemon that's char grilled. Just finish that of that lovely rapeseed oil. Squeeze that lemon over the top. Should we have a little try? Yum. Very, very good. That's absolutely delicious. A lovely, quick, midweek meal, full of flavour, full of flavour. And if you want more inspiration, go to jamieoliver.com. We've got loads of recipes, loads of chicken recipes. But guys, get marinating. It's great. Take care. Without question, my teenagers love a bit of breadcrumb chicken, as do I. And I wanted to use that love of crispy breadcrumb chicken to come up with a slightly different version. I'm just gonna break it down into a slightly simpler version that's easier and faster to do. I'm telling you, this is joyful, really good fun, and the end result is something just colourful, full of flavour, and really delicious. So what I wanna do is tenderise this piece of chicken. So lay some greaseproof paper, just get 2 little sheets. This is a nice free-range chicken breast. You've naturally got a fat side here and a thin side there. Equal that out. So grab a rolling pin and just start giving it a little bang. And that's literally going to tenderize this, flatten it out. Already, that's made a difference. We can go a bit further. So look, that's done. Second one goes on. Start off a little softer. If you just smash it, you know, you're going to turn it into a burger. So gently, gently, then harder. Try and keep whatever it is you're whacking nice and flat. It's going to be more tender and it's going to cook more evenly and faster. So that is absolutely a triple pleasure. Score into the chicken every centimetre. Turn it around and do it the other way. It looks pretty, and it's going to create a surface area where it gets really crispy and gnarly, and it also clings on to anything you happen to sprinkle on top. Right, let me just wash my hands. Okay, this is exciting. You can see I've got a massive smile on my face, and that is because the flavours in this dish make me happy. So I've bashed and scored the chicken. Now it's perfect for seasoning up with some sea salt and black pepper as well, and then the juice of half a lemon. And we'll just kiss that, then pat it all over, and then I'm going to go in with just a little bit of plain flour. Pat that flour in, both sides, rub it in and around. Happy blooming days. The lemon juice flavours the chicken, and it makes the flour stick to it. I didn't want to do the flour, eggs and breadcrumbs and get all the different plates out and have more washing up to do. This is just a little bit simpler and we can get cooking much quicker. So I'll put this on the plate, ready to go, like that. Let's have a little clear up and wash the hands again. I'm going to put a large pan on a medium-high heat. We'll let that heat up. And then I want to show you how to make some breadcrumbs. Of course, you can buy the breadcrumbs, no trouble at all. I quite like making my own. If you use just standard bread, it's going to be delicious. If you've got some nice sourdough bread, it's going to be amazing. Just a little bit like that, 30 grams, something like that, and just take it up like this, rip it up. But make sure you tear up the crusts, because they can be quite tough. And then take any herb, and that just gives it a nice flavour. That's an extra. Herbs like thyme, sage, rosemary, these are all fantastic. Just get the lid on there like that and whiz it up. Now, I quite like that because there's some chunks in there, sort of semi-fine. I like it being rustic. And then I'm working like how to take these breadcrumbs to the next level. Okay, bacon with the breadcrumbs and the chicken is a thing of joy. And whether it's pancetta or smoky bacon, as long as it's smoked, I'm happy. That's going to be a game changer. Finely slice that up into little matchsticks. I just need 2 rashers. It's a beautiful thing. And my 2 teenagers just love it. It's always something that makes me happy. It's a wonderful treat meal. Let's just get cooking. I'm going to go in with a tablespoon of olive oil to start rendering that incredible smoky bacon fat. And then we can just push the bacon to one side and just sort of tilt the pan. And that smoky bacon fat will be the first thing that starts cooking the chicken. And it's going to be amazing, I promise you. So the bacon and the chicken all cooking with each other in harmony. It's going to be a thing of beauty. Now the bacon's getting nice and golden, let's go in with the breadcrumbs. Move the breadcrumbs around in the bacon bits. So all of this is going to get gorgeous and golden and crispy in the same time it takes for the chicken to get perfectly cooked. And we don't want to overcook the chicken. We want it to be perfect, but not dry. If you've got that chicken nice and thin, you know, 3 minutes on each side should be enough. So while that's doing its magic, let's flip the board. Avocado, a massive hit with my family. I want to make, inspired by guacamole, a kind of smashed avocado, but I want to freshen it up and I want it to be really spoonable and fresh and smooth. Carefully put the knife in a ripe avocado, move it around carefully, and then just clink it like that, and you've got the seed here. Put the actual avocado on the board, give it a tap, and then you can remove it, okay? But you don't want to be doing any of this kind of in-your-hand stuff, don't do it. And then to get the seed out, just tap like that, happy days. You can try and grow it if you want. Get the avocados into the mixer, squeeze it in like this. Pinch of salt, the other half of the lemon juice. Put your hands out here to catch any seeds if need be. And then organic yogurt. Just a tablespoon, lid on top, and wazz it up. We want it to be really silky smooth, but with the crunch of the bacon bits, it's going to be really tasty. I'm just going to check on this chicken because I've got good feelings that nice things are happening. Yes, the breadcrumbs and the bacon has kind of cooked into it. That is what we want. So back in the pan we go, moving those breadcrumbs around, giving it a little shake. It smells really, really good. I'm going to turn this down now. Okay, so that's good. Let's plate up. The heat is off. I'm very, very pleased with that. The smashed avocado is done. Have a little taste first. Seasoning's good, actually. Divide this by your 2 plates and kind of use the back of the spoon just to push it around. The teenagers love it smooth, as do I, because the whole idea of like crunch and smooth and then succulent chicken is a really good thing. If you're nervous about cooking chicken, which is quite common, just take the knife and slice through it into like 3 or 4, and then just turn it on its side and you can see if it's all cooked through, which this is. Beautiful. So let's just move this across. And then as you're kind of putting it down, you can kind of just like wonk it up a little bit so it's all here, there, and everywhere. And for me, that's just a really fast, fuss-free. Look how juicy that chicken is. Absolutely delicious. So crispy chicken, and then we've got the breadcrumbs here. So it's so funny because so often it's like the crunchy bits that get everyone going. The breadcrumbs and the bacon has gone so crispy. It's a really nice little technique and the flavour is phenomenal. All of my kids fight for these bits. And look, if I'm cooking for the little ones, then often I'll just like cut the avocado up and they may or may not eat it, but they definitely don't want the kind of smooth stuff. Serve that with a little wedge of lemon. The last little flair, which is a little bit Jackson Pollock, is chili sauce. And just kind of go nuts about it. Just let it go everywhere. That feels like a really optimistic, uplifting, exciting midweek dinner. It'll put a massive smile. Look, you can see the smile, right? That's because I'm salivating at what I know I'm going to taste. All I would have with that is a nice little chopped salad. Right. Enough yapping. It would only be fair to have a little try. So let's go for the chicken. When you pick it up, you get in those bacon bits with some of that avocado, yes. Then the breadcrumbs stick to it. Crunch. I love it. Succulent chicken. And then it's just got all the little things that I love to have with it. Silky avocado, breadcrumbs, bacon, a little bit of chili sauce. Oh, I'm absolutely over the moon. I think if you had a go at that, you'd be really pleased with yourself. It's quick and fast to do. It's nice to do it for 2 people. And if there's more people, do a second round. You know, you're gonna have to really try hard to get someone not to love it. Avocado gets more exciting. Hit a chili, wow. Little salad. Happy days. I'm gonna do one of the all-time classic pasta dishes. I'm gonna do a carbonara, right? There's a couple of vegetables that work incredibly well with it, and one of them is Mr. Courgette. The other one actually is asparagus, which is delish with it. Have a look at this. So I've got a nice, thickly cut piece of pancetta, or you could use smoky bacon. I've got 5 slices here. I'm going to do 2 portions, 2 very generous portions, OK? I'm just going to slice these up, and I want it to be quite chunky and quite rugged. Lovely. And this will be a brilliant beginning to this little story, because I'm going to put a little splash of olive oil in this pan. I'll get the heat on, and I want the fat to render out of this beautiful bacon straight away. So, while that's doing that, let me put the pasta in. You could use linguine, you could use spaghetti, which is lovely with carbonara. I am told by the Italians, who I trust, that penne is the classic. So, about 200 grams of penne there. Season it with some salt. Lid on top. Right, penne's on, smoky bacon's on. Give it a little toss every now and again, and already you can smell it means business. Get your lovely courgettes, a couple of small courgettes per person. Cut them in half, first of all. So if you look at these yellow ones, you know, there's a fair old bit of seed in there. I want to cut them into quarters now. And, you know, you can kind of do what you like, really. But what I want to try and do is just remove that fluffy bit of core and slice the courgette at an angle into pieces of squash that kind of look a little bit like quills of penne. And very often in good pasta dishes, they do that so that the pasta and the sauce work well together. And this is a great dish because you can get it cooked in the time it takes you to cook the pasta. So if I'm really quick, I'll split this green one. Middle out, middle out, middle out. Slice that one the same. And then with this big old fella, although I'm completely breaking my rules, slice this up, rough and ready. So there's my lovely courgettes. When the pancetta's gone nice and golden and crisp, this is the point when we want to get our courgettes into there. The flavour that these courgettes are going to take on is absolutely delish. So just give it a good old toss. And then, very important to this dish, a nice big pinch of pepper, right? That's how, at least I was taught by Italians. In a carbonara, you go big styly on the pepper, not just for seasoning, for a bit of heat as well. So, just before I get on with the sauce, thyme. Nice bit of thyme. Thyme loves courgettes. Thyme also loves pork and bacon. So I've got lemon thyme in there, and I've got some of this mottled one here. This is a flowering, variegated thyme, which is delish. So pick that in. And now's the time to do that, because you've got all the lovely flavours cooking together. That would be a wicked, actually, little vegetable dish. A little contorni, you know, steak and chips, bosh, that inside, you know. You could sprinkle that over a frittata. You could sprinkle that over a little pizzetta. You could toss that into some lovely salad leaves, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, make a lovely warm salad. So, you know, what's lovely is that kind of clever way of getting the fat out of the bacon and putting the courgettes in and the herbs and the pepper. You can kind of use it lots of different ways. Now, the sauce is dead simple. And this is where everyone gets the sauce completely wrong, right? For one person, you want 1 egg yolk. So I'm doing 2, so I'll have 2. So I've got 2 egg yolks in there for 2 people. You want a splash of cream, about 25 mils per person, 50 mils going in there. A nice sort of handful like that of freshly grated Parmesan. Don't go using that pre-grated horrible stuff. And I don't think you need to put pepper in here because you've got it in there. And I don't think you need to season it because you've got seasoned pasta water, you've got salty pancetta. And this is where the true carbonara gets serious, right? I know by now that those courgettes are softened, but they've still got a bit of crunch to it. Drain your pasta, straight in with the courgettes. What I want to do now is just wait. You listen. That frying sound, it's too aggressive for the eggs. It'll end up like scrambled eggs. The heat subsided, and now you pour it in, and you toss it, toss it, toss it, toss it, toss it, toss it. Go over to your pasta and get some of that pasta water in here. And you want it to be silky. You want it to be smooth, and you want it to just perfectly cover the pasta. That's what we want it to look like. Get a nice big plate. A little bit of thyme over the top. Good oil. Happy days. Classic dish. Works really, really well with courgettes.
I'm taking crunchy new season salad leaves at their very best in spring and pimping them up with my twist on a classic French dressing. Served with a stunning roast chicken and nuggets of tangy cheese in my roast chicken springtime salad.
So let's start with the marinade for the chicken. I'm gonna use some beautiful herbs here. I've got some oregano. It's a brilliant herb, beautiful, savory herb with citrusy notes. Very good with lamb, very good with chicken. Actually, it's very good with fish. It's good with everything. What I'm gonna do is just get all these leaves off the stalk, like a handful, generous handful we got there. And we'll get those in the pestle and mortar. If you haven't got one, you can use a liquidizer or you can chop it if you want. A nice, generous pinch of salt and pepper and give it a ruddy good bashing. Excuse the noise. Once you've got it to a kind of nice little pulp like this, right, we can go in then with a couple of cloves of garlic. Once the garlic's smashed up, then loosen that with olive oil. That's about 3 tablespoons. And we go from bashing then to muddling. And that is how you extract incredible flavour. Now we want a little bit of acidity to balance that. So it could be lemon juice, it could be vinegar, it doesn't really matter. So a little bit of lemon juice goes in, and that over the chicken is going to be amazing. Look at the colour. When I roast it, by the way, I'm going to put a very simple trivet of a couple of onions, just cut in half like that. And I leave the skins on because they kind of protect the onions and allow them to really kind of caramelise and go jammy and sticky and gorgeous. And then a little bit of garlic. I'll just put half a garlic in there. Again, leave it in the skins, and later on I can squeeze the garlic out and it's sweet and caramelised and gorgeous. Now, for the chicken, the easiest preparation ever is to spatchcock the chicken. You pick it up like that, you get a knife, you're gonna do one little cut down the back, and that's gonna open it out like a book. And just flatten it out. By making it flat, you've increased the surface area, it's gonna cook quicker. But also, we've got this kind of thing between the breast meat that cooks quicker than the leg meat. So what I wanna do is encourage more flavour in this breast meat. You get the skin at the back, and you stick your finger under the breast like this, right to the end. Try not to tear it anywhere, right? And you do it on the other side as well. So now we've got a pocket between the breast and the skin. And then I can put the marinade under there, I can put a knob of butter under there.
Hi.
Hi, babe.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, good.
What
In
you
my
doing?
little shack.
I know, I love it.
Lunch is being prepared. Can you grab that butter and
Yeah.
bring it over here? Can you cut me 2 slithers of butter about 1 centimetre thick, please?
Yeah.
If you can pass me that, because I've got chickeny hands. I just take the skin and the butter and I put it underneath like that and take some of this marinade and not just put it on the top, but also put it inside as well. Take these onions, I'll face them down like that, and the garlic, and I'll take our beautiful chicken, right? That is gonna taste incredible. All of this marinade here, don't waste any of that. We'll put that on top. So that's gonna go in the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour at 200 degrees Celsius, 400 Fahrenheit. I'm gonna have a little wash up. Okay, so we're gonna do lardons. If you can just put a little bit of olive oil in there, Jay.
Yeah. Doesn't matter which one.
That one's great. Lovely smoked streaky bacon. This is just stuff from the supermarket. I want the lardons to be like golden, crunchy. Put a little bit of black pepper on these as well. So after about a minute, you can see that's nice and golden. Lardons done. And I'm now gonna do some croutons. Use any bread that you can get your hands on. So just cut them into sort of rough dice. So Jay, do you mind just sprinkling those into there? The only missing trick is the dressing. Dijon mustard is the beginning of the story. A nice, generous 1 or 2 teaspoons olive oil and red wine vinegar. Try that. Delicious, right?
Nice, yeah.
So 2 tablespoons of lovely red wine vinegar. What you can do if you're geeky is you can blend an olive oil with an extra virgin olive oil. Normally it's like 3 or 4 times the amount of oil to vinegar. And then a little honey, a little teaspoon going in there. Let's lay out the salad and we'll be good to go. Let's have this little bit of radish. Now it's time for the really classic bit, the roquefort. What we're doing is taking an average salad to the next level. Last but not least, a nice handful of grated walnuts. I've got the lovely lardons. That is a fine salad. Jules, put a few croutons on the top. Beautiful dressing, look at that. Thick, gorgeous French dressing. Finish it with some lovely herbs, fennel, and you've got those lovely chive flowers right now, look at those. And these are banging season. So Jules, if you can sprinkle those over the top in a nice flourish, I'll finely slice these. The chive flowers are like the most delicate, sort of fragrant, sweet flavour. That chicken's had about 50 minutes. The spatchcocking at 200 does roast very, very fast. Look at that chicken. That is full of deliciousness. This is my idea of heaven. Just plate up 2 lovely plates of food and have a nice little bit of lunch together. Hungry?
Yeah.
You can tell if a chicken's cooked nicely, if that meat just kind of comes off the bone, not just easily. Can you see how juicy it is? Completely moist, beautifully cooked through. And I know someone that might want to try it. Let's get a bit without any of that garlic flavouring. Conker.
He was literally just going on round to find you.
Yeah. Can't believe the dog gets a bit of chicken before me. Let's get in here. Take out a nice little wadge. Make sure you've got a little bit of everything on there. There you go, the love of my life. Why don't you sit at my desk over there? I'll come and join you. I haven't set up the proper table here yet. How is it, Jay?
Amazing. The best lunch ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's right up my street.
Does that mean you'll come over to my little shack more often?
Yeah, I will. Definitely.
I'm gonna have to get a table here, though. I love it. It's so good. Leaves, crouton, bacon dressing.
The cheese is the best bit.
That explosion of cheese. So good.
Yeah.
Such a delicious salad. Now, Jules. When we finish this,
Yeah.
can you help me with the washing up?
Absolutely.
So chicken, crispy, beautifully flavoured, meat falling off the bone, that's what we want. And I'm gonna do sweet potato fries. So what I've done is I've taken 3 large sweet potatoes. I'm gonna keep the skin on, and I'll take each half into 3. So nice chunky wedges. I'm gonna make a little spice rub. So go into a bowl with 2 heaped tablespoons of cornmeal. It's gonna help give your chicken and the sweet potatoes a nice crunchy exterior. Next, a nice heaped tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. You want a generous seasoning of sea salt and black pepper. So let's get some chicken. I'm gonna get myself 2 trays, and then I'm gonna also save a bit of money with olive oil. Instead of drizzling away like I do, just give it a nice little spritz, or you can drizzle, which just makes the crust even better. Next up, chicken. So we're gonna have another little spritz up. Loving this. Okay, in with the chicken. That seasoning's getting in there. It's gonna make it amazing. Any of this leftover spice here, we can just sprinkle on the top. Let's have a quick little clean down and get those in the oven. The oven is preheated to 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit. Now, the chicken and sweet potatoes are gonna cook for around about an hour. After 20 minutes, the chicken comes out, and that's when I make a special coating to add more flavor, crunchy garlic breadcrumbs. And those breadcrumbs are gonna be made out of stale bread. 3 slices, give or take, go into a food processor. I'm gonna add a couple of cloves of garlic. I'll hit it up with some pepper. I'm gonna put just a little bit of oil in there, about half a tablespoon, and then I'm gonna whiz it out. So, breadcrumbs are done. In here, I'm gonna go in with about 2 tablespoons of flour, and then just mix in about 4 tablespoons of water, just to let it down to be a thick batter to stick the breadcrumbs to the chicken. You can add a little seasoning if you wish. Get yourself a little bowl for the breadcrumbs. So what I'm gonna do is take the chicken out when it's had 20 minutes. So this is not fully cooked yet. And then drape or brush the chicken in this batter, look. Move it around, and then we go from here to here. We pat it, and see, we coat it. And you've got those lovely garlicky breadcrumbs. And then in with this one. Let's wash the hands. So, back in the oven we go for 40 minutes until it looks utterly gorgeous. I'm gonna add the next ingredient, some lovely sweet corn. I'm gonna whack those in the tray that the chicken's cooking in. And the lovely fats that are rendering out of the chicken, we can just toss that in it, and it's gonna be utterly delicious. So let that have half an hour. Now, let's make a beautiful slaw. I'll take the onion and just grate it. Time to cry. I want some seasoning and some vinegar on to that onion. So a couple of tablespoons of vinegar go on there. We'll season it with some salt, and we'll mix that up. I'll just take a quarter of white cabbage, and again, just gonna box grate. So I reckon that is enough. Take a washed pear and just grate the whole thing. And then I'm gonna go in with some whole grain mustard. 1 heaped teaspoon and just a tablespoon of olive oil goes in. Next up, 3 tablespoons of yogurt. This with roasted or grilled meats is amazing. This in a sandwich, beautiful. I've got some dill here. You can use whatever herb you want, just pick that over. There's one last thing that I want on this slaw. If you've got some, just 20 grams of feta. And that, my friends, is gonna be a delicious slaw. Okay, so time to get the chicken out. It smells incredible. Sizzling away. Look at that. Crispy and golden. We've got our fries here. These have turned out great. Let's load up the sweet corn. Then we go in with the chicken. It's crispy on the bottom, which we like. Come on, look at that. Imagine taking that to the table. Kids, dive in. Let's just get myself a load of those fries. And then a big old chicken. Oh my goodness. Spice, seasoning, and crunch. Wow, I love it.
This chicken and mushroom tray bake is all about easy assembly. After a satisfying short 10 minutes of prep, the oven does all the hard work for you. Weeknight or weekend, that's a simple dinner sorted.
So, classic mushroom, beautiful. I've got 400 grams, make sure they're nice and clean. Then the chicken, I want to use a nice big fat thigh, right, on the bone, skin on, maximum flavour, sweet, delicious meat that falls off the bone. I'm going to put the hob on here on like a medium heat. I just want a little bit of heat to brown up that chicken skin. Little olive oil in the pan. Take the chicken and I'll season it up with salt and pepper. I'm actually going to cover it in the oven, and that's going to give you very tender chicken in the most beautiful way, but it won't give you much browning. So what I'll do is I'll start that browning process now by just using the tray, not just for baking and roasting, but also a little frying. We can do that. So put them skin side down in the tray, and I'm just going to lightly brown them. Chicken thighs are amazing, they're great value. Having the bone and skin on gives you more flavour. So just fry these off for like 3 or 4 minutes until lightly golden. Have a little look at this. That's all I want. It's just a gesture of getting that skin crispy. I'll turn the gas off now, but that's sizzling away. So let's begin putting these flavour combos together. So I'm going to use some pretty everyday tinned items from the cupboard. Butter beans, they're big, fat and creamy, but you could use any bean you like. And then I've got some mushroom soup. This is condensed mushroom soup. The idea is this little hack helps amp up the flavour of the things that we're putting in there, and it stops you having to make a sauce with another pan, more washing up, and for quick kind of like midweek cooking, this tray bake, I want to work hard for you, right? I don't want you to cook harder, I want you to think smarter. That's what it's all about, right? Another little hack, I love fresh spinach, I buy it, I grow it, but believe it or not, I also have it frozen. And frozen spinach is brilliant. It's really convenient to have, but also it's been blanched and wrung out, and that means it's perfect for cooking. So I'll take 4 of these for 4 people, for our 4 thighs, and for me, spinach with creamy mushroom is just an absolute joy. Right, let's put this together because it's unbelievably quick. We're gonna go in with the mushrooms, right? They're all washed. If you've got some big ones, you can just cut them in half, no trouble at all. I'm then gonna go in with the beans. Drain most of that liquid. Beans go in. Now, this tin isn't just for the beans. Think of this tin as your measure. 1 tin of water, 1 tin of rice, and then your tin here of mushroom soup. That'll be enough liquid to cook you 4 portions of the most beautiful rice every single time. It's a great little hack. I want you to have delicious meals that you can rattle out. I want these combinations and these quantities to work for you every single time. The fact that you can put this together so quickly, whack it in the oven, do what you gotta do, 40, 50 minutes later, dinner. Wow, that's what it's all about, right? So look, last things in, we'll go in with the spinach, a little olive oil, basic seasoning of salt and pepper. Then get yourself a lovely lemon, and I'm gonna use the juice later. That's another story, but I want the zest. This zest is unbelievable flavour. Just mix everything up. I want the chicken skin on the top because we want that to get crisp later. And then you're ready to go. Grab a little bit of tin foil and just kind of crimp it up the sides. This now goes in the oven for 45 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, and then I'll whip off that tin foil and give it a few minutes to get golden on top. It's gonna be delicious. Right. Yes. Right, do this carefully, but look at that. Hot and steamy. So I'm now just gonna put it back in for just a couple of minutes, just to get a little bit of crispiness on the top. Okay, I've got one little thing that I think takes this to the next level, and it's using mustard, right? 4 big teaspoons of English mustard. Then we're gonna hit it up with lemon juice. Slap it with freshness and that electric kind of citrus. Enough to make it nice and loose. Because when I get my plate of like rice, chicken, spinach, I want to sprawl that all over the place. Just amazing. So this is the simplest little hack. Right, let's check that chicken. The skin's now dancing. I actually do this quite a lot, which is very sad. Watching things crackle. I think we're good. Let's go for it. Come on. Look at that. What a beautiful dinner. The oven's done all the hard work. Let's portion some up. Some bits around the edge have just caught, which I love. Put the chicken on top. and a bit of oyster mushroom. It looks really good. And then your lemony English mustard. That is a brilliant tray bake meal right there. Let's have a little try. Oh. I love it. The chicken is delicious, it's tender. It's a humble thigh, right? But it's given so much flavour to the rice. Like that spinachy freshness with the unctuous rice, the heat of the lemony mustard and the chicken. This tastes like I've been cooking for hours, but you saw it, right? What we're talking about is big flavour, but simple preparation. Get it in that tray, mix it up, cover it, cook it. Eat it. I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious, straightforward pasta bake with sweet leeks, tomatoes, basil, parmesan, and the most amazing garlicky crumb. We're going to do a big batch of it. You could either feed loads of people, or you could portion it off, put it in the fridge or the freezer for meals for another day, but also a hack of turning this, the everyday pre-bought garlic bread, into a thing of joy, the most amazing garlic bread crumb. So let's start off with that. First up, get yourself a liquidizer. We're gonna use this for the crumb and for the sauce. So I'm gonna cut this into half. Just rip up half your garlic bread into here, give it a little waz. So that simple little trick takes your beautiful garlic bread into a fine breadcrumb. So let's do the second one. Really, really nice. So, we've got the lovely crumb here. I'll put that to one side. Let's get on with the pasta sauce. So we're gonna start it off with some olive oil in a pan. A couple of tablespoons goes in. And then the beginning of the story is gonna be some garlic. 2 cloves of garlic. We'll just slice this up like that. So, medium heat. Let's get that frying. I'll take a little bit of this basil now. I'll give you another little tip, actually. If you pick any herbs, especially if they look a little bit sad, put it in the water, they'll refresh and come back to life. And then these stalks here, you don't have to throw these away. Just finely slice them. They're still full of flavour. And we'll get them in with the garlic. Now let's talk about oregano. I've got the regular stuff here that you'll see, just a little teaspoon I can put in my hand and then put into the oil like that. Then here, I've got some posh oregano. It's not really posh. It looks posh. It's just unprocessed. I always think it's quite nice to get this, if you can, a little bit more fragrant. So you can see it's just gently frying. It smells really fragrant. I've taken it off the heat because I don't want to burn the garlic. Really important to not burn garlic. So look, we've got the leek. So what I tend to do to clean it is just take the end off there, run my knife just down the leek like this, pull off that outside leaf, and then I'm gonna kind of treat it like it's almost 2 different vegetables. So I'll simply cut this in half. I'll save this green part for a soup or a stew that I'm gonna do this week. Really, really nice. Nothing will go to waste. And this lovely white part here, I'm gonna put into this pasta dish. Now, when leeks grow, they always come out the ground, obviously, and they pick up a little bit of mud, dirt, grit, stuff like that. So let me show you. This is the stalk end. And what I'm gonna do is cut it in half lengthwise, like that. And then what you want to do is wash it under the tap away from the stalk. Just a quick little wash. Also, what's nice about giving it a quick little wash is that excess little bit of water creates a little steam that then creates a little more sort of sweetness and softness. So in we go with the leek. I'll give it a little season with salt and pepper, just to start the seasoning story. And that's gonna be on a medium heat now. If you just kind of like slow cook that for 10 minutes, it really kind of concentrates the sweetness. It's utterly delicious. So while that does its thing, I'm gonna put some pasta into my pan of water. So 500 grams of, frankly, any pasta you like. So when I'm cooking pasta for a pasta bake, I always undercook it. So the pack says 12 minutes, so I'm gonna give this 8 minutes. Then I'll show you what to do next. So these leeks have had 10 minutes. The pasta's cooked, drained and refreshed. Now to carry this sauce is a really beautiful old friend, tomatoes. We're gonna go in with 3 tins of beautiful tinned tomatoes, and then I'll clean these tins out with some water just to clean out the tin, use every last bit. Bring this to the boil, let it simmer for 15 minutes, and then you could serve the sauce chunky and rustic, but I'm gonna liquidize it until it's silky smooth. So look, that's had sort of 10, 15 minutes. Look at that, just blipping away. Have a little taste. Oh, gorgeous. This is your opportunity to adjust a little seasoning if you need it. If you want to make it a little hotter with black pepper, of course. If you wanted to hit it with chili, you can. I'm going to whiz it up now. I'm going to put most of it in there. So whiz it up. Whenever you're using hot things and liquidizers, put the lid on for sure and put a tea towel on top. I have decorated myself and the room so many times. Having a little look at it. If you want to put some herbs in here now, you can. If you want to put a little cheese in here now, you know, just a little bit, you can. Nice. I think having a liquidizer or a hand blender is a genuinely useful gadget. So in we go with the sauce. You can see the colour change now from the deep red to the almost orange. Sunshine, look at that. Just beautiful. Basically, we're done. We'll go in with the lovely pasta. Look at that. Have a little taste. Oh, delicious. I'm going to do a little layer of Parmesan, about 50 grams, just to kind of create a little kind of gooiness when you put your spoon into it. It's going to be delicious. Beautiful. And I'm actually going to hijack this a little bit with a nice little hack. It's a great vegetable that I love. It sits in the freezer. It's super convenient. Frozen spinach. Why would I use frozen spinach? It's super convenient. It comes in these little portion, sort of normally 80-gram pellets. Just going to take 8 of these pellets and put it in and around this pan like that. And I think that spinach works really well with these flavors. So look, beautiful colors. Very excited about that. I'm now just going to finish it with that beautiful garlic breadcrumb. I'm going to take half of it and sprinkle a nice fat layer on top, right to the edges. And that will just cook up really, really nicely. What you can do with the rest of this is get like some of these little freezer bags. And I promise you, this will be the handiest thing to have in the freezer. So the next time you roast a piece of fish, right, sprinkle that on top in the oven, crunchy, beautiful. You know, the next time you want to take an everyday salad and make it like exciting, just put that in a pan, get it golden, little golden sort of tiny croutons, crunch, deliciousness. So this is a brilliant thing to have. Next time you make a lasagna, sprinkle that on top. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And no waste. So this now goes in the oven for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. When it's golden, when it's blipping away, when it looks like you want to eat it, it's ready.
While that's cooking, please click the like button and give us some love. And don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and remember to turn on that notification bell so you know what's happening. Now, back to the recipe.
So I know it's ready because I can smell it. The room smells so good. Those amazing garlicky breadcrumbs. So here it is. The beautiful pasta bake. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Let it sit for a little bit. What I would normally do is just put some of these lovely basil leaves over the top. They're in really good condition now they've been in the water. Look at that. It smells incredible. Now for me, I always love having it with a lovely simple salad. So I've got a nice little salad here. I'll just finish that with a little olive oil, little squeeze of lemon juice, and that is an incredible lunch. That's an incredible dinner. Look at that. I just love it. Okay, the next recipe is absolutely gorgeous. It's a cross between like a lasagna and a cannelloni. It's called Rotolo, rolled up. It's gorgeous. Beautiful roasted squash. I'll show you that in a minute, with amazing spinach, gorgeous cheese, tomato sauce, blipping away, golden and crispy. You are gonna love it, and it's real fun to make.
First, prepare your squash. Scoop out the seeds and peel off the skin. But don't chuck them away, you can eat them.
Georgie, can we just bake that up in the oven? Because I think that tossed through a lovely sort of mixed salad would be fantastic.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Then mash up the squash, season, and boom, job done.
That's it, just beautiful, natural, gorgeous squash in all of its simple glory. It's gonna be really, really tasty. It's heavenly, absolutely heavenly. The best baby food in the world, minus the salt. Fantastic as a base for a soup. Just a few onions and some basic herbs, you know, liquidize it with some stock, fantastic. I love those kind of principle recipes. Like, all of you have got to try doing that. Skin off, seeds out, mash it up, unbelievable. Use it like a mashed potato, phenomenal. Okay, enough of that talking.
For the next layer of your pasta filling, the spinach bit, start by chopping 1 red onion.
I've got some olive oil in the pan. I'm gonna go in with some onions here, and we'll fry this off. So we start getting some flavour in there. A nice pinch of salt and pepper goes in. Right, give that a nice little toss. Let that start to fry. We're gonna make a really dark, delicious, dense spinach. Really, really nice, okay? And for that, there is absolutely no point and no advantage of using fresh spinach, okay? So bear with me. Now, when you're gonna cook down spinach into soups, stews, do nice little gratins with cream and parmesan. In this case, we're cooking it down with herbs and onion to go inside this beautiful pasta dish. When you do that, you really kind of cook it hard. So there's no benefit in using fresh spinach, which, by the way, is quite pricey and massive in volume. It really takes up a lot of space. So come over here. I love fresh spinach. I grow it, I buy it, but I also love the frozen stuff. And genuinely, it's really useful, and it's just gonna give you that nice, dark, deep kind of flavour. Amazing with kind of curries, sort of Bombay spinach, beautiful. So I'm gonna toss up these onions. As soon as they get soft, I'm gonna throw these in. In actual fact, I'm gonna throw these in right now. The bonus here is to have that much spinach in a pan, I'd have to buy like 4 bags, right? It's gonna be really expensive. Izzy, how much is 500 grams of frozen spinach versus, you know, fresh? Is it a massive difference?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. Frozen spinach is 1/10 of the price of fresh spinach.
1/10? So you're telling me that if I bought a bag of spinach for £1, the same equivalent's 10p? There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Top your spinach off with some nutmeg and leave to cook down slowly for 15 minutes.
Look at the colours, the squash and the spinach. Beautiful, really, really beautiful.
Next, a super quick and super delicious tomato sauce. Slice up 4 cloves of garlic and a chilli if you like a bit of a kick.
Just chop it up. So this can go in a pan with a little olive oil. And then over here, we're using some passata, 700 mils of passata. It's already kind of been sort of moulied and pureed. So look, as soon as that garlic gets a little bit golden, pour it in. Look at it, just sizzling away. Gonna get a bit of water to clean out the jar. Also, these jars are worth keeping. They're great for sort of sauces and preserves, vinegars, stuff like that, if you do any of that sort of stuff. Just mix that in. Really, really nice. Simple, very, very simple tomato sauce. Mix it in. We'll bring that to the boil. Remember, of course, the tomatoes are already cooked. You're just reheating them. So, my friends, it's time to make the Rotolo.
I'm using fresh pasta lasagna sheets. If they're a bit stiff, you can just stick them in a bit of boiling water for a few seconds.
I'm just doing it for 20 seconds, just to stop it from cracking. You know, because I'm going to roll it up. I don't want it busting over the place. You might not have to do it. You make the call.
Lay them flat and grab your smashed squash. Now the fun bit.
We're going to divide the squash between the 6 pieces of pasta here. So think of each one of these little filled pastas. It's got to be good. It's a little present, do you know what I mean? The fact that this is beautifully seasoned is up to you. It's totally your responsibility to taste it, season it, and love it. There's nothing chefy about this at all. This is kids' play. This is like mud pies when you're a kid. You know, just spread it out.
Now, the spinach layer.
Look how dark that is. You can hardly see the difference between the spinach and the pan. Just kind of, just shake off around, divide it roughly, So I'm just gonna mix up this spinach, look at that.
To give my dish a lovely cheap punch of extra flavour, I'm going to crumble over a fine layer of feta cheese. If you want to be more classically Italian, you could just use ricotta instead.
I want about 50 grams of feta. Again, look at the colours. Just sprinkle that across the top. Look at that. Oh dear, oh dear.
Top it all off with a layer of Parmesan.
So look at what we got, guys. We've got these beautiful 6 bits of pasta. We've got this tomato sauce here. Can you just see it blipping away? Ah, that needs a little bit of salt. But basically, very, very nice. Let me show you the next bit, the most exciting bit. Very simple. I'm just gonna roll it up. Just think of this like a savoury Swiss roll. Cut it in half, and then cut each half in half again, into quarters. Look at that, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's kind of what the story's about. Just those intense, beautiful flavours. White, green, purple. Purple? Just go with it, purple. So that's what we've got. We're gonna plop that into that tomato sauce and just buddy them up next to each other. Ben?
Yep.
Safety first.
Always.
I've used frozen spinach here.
Yep.
If I cook this and add leftovers, could I freeze it again?
Yeah, you could do. Probably better to freeze it at this stage now. We've done all the filling. Let it cool down a little bit, tub it up, put it in the freezer, and then it's a really quick meal one night.
All right, okay.
Tuck your pasta rolls into your dish until they're all squeezed in, snuggled up tight. Finish with a little more grated Parmesan and some fresh sage.
Put a little oil on the sage. Toss it in the oil, very important. This way, you're gonna take this woody old herb that only gets used for stuffing. We're gonna put this on the top of our pasta here, and it just transforms the perfume, the flavour, and it kind of cooks like little crisps. Absolutely phenomenal and is unbelievable. Please, please have a go at this. So look, that's all there is to it now. We've had a little bit of fun. It's a cute dish to do. You know, a lasagna is always a pain in the backside. It's always a bit of an assembly. I have to say, I think this is easier. You know, you haven't got the meat ragu to do, you haven't got the white sauce to do, but you're getting the same kind of enjoyment and eating quality.
Whack that hot Italian mama into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius and bake for 40 minutes. When the Rotolo is ready, it's golden and crispy and just makes you long to stick a fork in it.
I've done pastas like this before and I call it honeycomb pasta because it kind of just looks like a honeycomb, all cooked into each other. The tomato sauce between all the little gaps. Really, really gorgeous.
And don't forget, you've also got those roasted seeds and skin from the squash, which will be amazing in a green salad.
Don't think I'm going OTT on the old saving money thing. It's delicious.
This Rotolo is incredibly tasty, but also super cheap to make. For not much more than a £5, you can feed 6 people. It's 91p a portion.
Comfort food, something a little different, really good fun to make. Come on, what are you waiting for? Go cook it.